This is episode number 37, and we're talking about the most effective advertising outlets, sending thank you notes, and emerging marketing for dental practices.
This is the 8E8 Dental Marketing Show with your host, Joshua Scott.
Hey everybody, what's up and welcome to the 8E8 Dental Marketing Show. This is the internet's only dental show that's answering marketing's most important questions. That is what we do. This is episode 37 and I am your host, Joshua Scott. Got a good show today. It's going to be quick, squeezing it in. I got a few questions for you, but just an overall busy week. In Colorado the next few days with just meetings one after the other. And then also speech this Thursday night up in the Chicago area, hosting it with a good friend of mine and company Rev Local. So we're up there doing a joint speech downtown Chicago Thursday night. If you're interested, hit me up. Shoot me an email, put a comment. Would love to get you registered for that event. Top dental marketing trends right now. We're going to be talking about it up there Thursday night downtown Chicago. So that's happening. New article out. It's creating an effective marketing strategy for 2016. That link is down below in the show notes. Would love for you to check that out. I mean, because now is the time, right, to be planning your marketing for next year and getting that strategy in place. And the more you can get ahead of it and plan it, and the more long-term you can get, the more success you're going to have with your marketing for sure. So those things are happening, but this is episode number 37. Let's get to some questions.
First question comes from Sean R. What are the most effective advertising media outlets for a dental practice?
Sean, digital. Digital is it. When you talk about the most effective advertising outlets for a dental practice, I mean, it's going to be, it's digital. And so on all the opportunities out there in front of you, default or prefer, go with digital. Okay. So in that space, man, here's the beauty of it. Digital is kind of like, digital definitely gave rise to niche marketing. So now you can be in a niche company or have a niche product and have the niche marketing to go along with it. If you're selling yoga mats, you don't have to get on NBC and broadcast your commercial to millions of people, most of whom probably don't care about yoga mats. You can literally put an ad on Facebook and target people that are interested in yoga. So like that, the niche markets, digital has created niche marketing for niche markets. And so that's what's been amazing. And so dentistry will have it's 12 to 15 different players that are there. I mean, Google is a huge one, right? Facebook is a big one. Will Instagram be a big one? Yelp, Health Grades. There's some big players in there. And in the end, it's all going to kind of shake out to here's the 5. I mean, most dental practices, there will probably be about 12 big players. Most dental practices' budgets will allow them to choose 5 to 7 of them that they play with, depending on the area, depending on the market. So, there will be some, probably everybody's in, Google, Facebook. There will be some, Angie's List, Yelp, Health Grades, where you'll start to kind of pick and choose. And who knows what's going to turn up in the next 10 years, right? But each industry, because of what digital is doing, it's going to give each industry like its kind of 12 main players. The thing is, it'll be different for every industry for the most part. Service-based may be similar, but man, it will allow you to target the people who are really interested in your message and increase the sales and the ROI from that marketing.
Question number 2 comes from Tasha. Would sending thank you cards to new patients or emergency patients be a good idea?
Tasha, yes. Thanks for leaving this question. Yes. I think especially when we're talking about healthcare, one of those things you can never go wrong with is personal touch, right? So whether it's a new patient, man, if it's an emergency patient you saw and you're sending out a thank you note, I mean, because it's just not expected. It's not expected. The American public doesn't expect to see a healthcare professional and get a handwritten thank you note back. So you doing that automatically creates attention, it grabs attention, it breaks through the noise, it's unexpected, and therefore it's immensely effective, okay? So yes, do it. The only probably hang up I have with that is the scalability. And I think in the beginning, if you're talking 10, 15, 20, even 25 new patients a month, probably not a big deal. If you're a bigger group practice and now we're talking 75, 80, 100, 125 new patients a month, that becomes very difficult. And that becomes something you decide, is this part of who we are or not? And do we commit to do it no matter what? So, but great idea. I say go for it until you just can't do it anymore. And even then, try to still make it happen.
Our third question is from Dr. Patel. What are some emerging areas you see in dental marketing?
Dr. Patel, this is I really love this question. It's interesting, especially this time of year, probably because we're thinking about 2016 with our clients already. And, I'm a big believer in having a portion of your budget for, as you called it, emerging spaces, emerging marketing, experimental. And so I think the best marketing budgets have a little bit of money set aside to experiment, because there's just that factor in marketing that it's just not that formulaic. And so there will be things that surprise us sometimes. And there will be things that we do in 9 other dental practices that work amazing. And we get to yours and it's just not going the way we thought. So you always have to be adjusting, trying out some new places, see the return we can get. But right now, I mean, next year, some of the things we're talking about is Instagram marketing for practices, which is different. We want to, I don't know if you said, is it better than Facebook? I don't know right now. Attention is definitely there. It's a younger demographic. So that's interesting, but at the same time, it's owned by Facebook. So all of their data, their ad manager comes into play for that. And so the targeting capability is still there. So that's interesting. And then it's like, if we're going to market on Instagram, you got to have an Instagram account. And it's completely image driven, which is something dental practices don't typically do a lot of or do well of. So you have to have visual content creation and solving that piece. So I think that's really one of the main experimental pieces we're trying out next year, messing around with. I think it's really interesting right now seeing some of Google's shift towards curated lists. And I know we've talked about that probably the last 3 episodes, but I see Yelp making a big play there. Google kind of did a shift and Yelp did a little shift, and it's like lining up perfect right now because Yelp is preferring curated lists or Google's preferring curated lists, and Yelp turned them into top 10 dental practices in that community. And so whether or not they are the top 10 is subjective completely, but based on reviews, Yelp says, here are the top 10 dental practices in that community. And so getting on that list is an SEO strategy. It's a marketing strategy. And I think we're going to see that with Health Grades. We're going to see that with Angie's List. You're going to see some of these big list players come into the game, which we're watching right now. And I think some of our efforts and strategies will shift there. And so, yeah, that's it, man. Those are the places I would say, if I had experimental money, I would be thinking about Instagram content, Instagram ads. And this is the first time I would start really considering advertising with Yelp, like doing some paid ads there, either with them and with Health Grades, some of these kind of fringe list players. So great question though. I'm glad you're thinking that way. Guys, appreciate it. Your homework for the show. Do you have an experimental budget in your plan? And if so, What are you going to do with it next year? Where are you going to experiment with marketing next year? So this was episode 37. It was a quick one. I know we're squeezing it in, but as always, I appreciate you being here. Hit me up with your questions as we get close to the end of the year. What is it I can answer for you? What do you have on your mind? What can help you plan your marketing better? Hit me up with it. I'll see you next episode.